Anyhow, good morning. So I'm finishing up the whole clearing out emotions today. And the last thing that I want to talk about is being detached from an outcome and really, truly just surrendering, right? So I have, these conversations, with these ladies, and I can just feel the pressure, right, and the energy of it has to be this way. I'm attached to this particular outcome, right? And I'm working so hard and so diligently to make sure that it lines up with what, like we talked about before, with my expectations, right? What those expectations are. And they just seem to have, and I can completely understand and relate to this because I felt this way as well, after going through my 20-year, marriage and divorce, process. Well, the process wasn't 20 years, you know what I mean. Um, but I felt this way too. We get to the point where we expect a certain result, we have an intention in our mind, we feel secure in thinking and meditating, really, well, yeah, we'll just say thinking about how we want things to line up, how we want our life to look, right? How we want it to progress, what we want the outcome to be. And that's just part of our feminine nature to be planners, right? It's part of our security, is to know how the outcome is going to be. How do I plan for my future when I'm unsure of what's going to come next, right? So I get it. I understand the nervousness. I understand the negative energy as far as I need it. It has to be this way. I'm so stuck on this. Um, because that's how we hold on to a little bit of our security and honestly just that control, right? But the right way, right? The peaceful way, the way that's in alignment with how energy flows is to surrender. So let me kind of break down what that means. I mean, a lot of you have heard the surrender. I get, well, what do you mean by surrender, Naima? I don't, how can I just surrender? Show me, make it make sense, right? So I'm not talking about surrendering to a person. I am speaking about surrendering to an outcome, surrendering to the thought process of all things work together for my good. Life is happening for me, not to me. I understand that whatever happens is for my greatest and my highest good because my God, my universe, whoever you identify with, is working for your benefit, right? You have to believe that. You have to operate as though you believe that. If you don't believe in any type of God or any type of, um, you know, greater being or force, that's governing your life, most people do believe in some sort of governing energy. However, if you don't, it may be hard for you to understand and kind of comprehend what I'm saying. But we all get to this point where we literally just have to say, I would like it this way. This is the way that I'm dreaming about it. I'm thinking about it in my head that I would like to line up. However, I'm not going to be attached to exactly how I see it. What I am going to be attached to is the feeling behind it and knowing that my security will be intact, that it will all work out for my good. Okay. Really letting go of the expectation of an outcome, right? Surrendering to a higher being, another way of doing things. Everything doesn't have to be an argument. Everything doesn't have to fit inside, your box, pretty little this. Everything doesn't have to line up the way that you feel like you want them to line up. I hear this a lot as well. Well, I'm constantly thinking about how he's living. I'm constantly, contemplating whether his life is going to be better than my life now. And I just don't think that that's fair. You know, it may not be. We spoke about that either yesterday or the day before. It may not be fair. There's no argument there. However, we have to come to terms with this being in a state of peace that we feel like it doesn't matter what his life looks like. It doesn't matter to me, but what does matter is the way that my life is shaping up. I cannot be focused on trying to balance or trying to make everything be even, right? If he has $50 and I have $50, or matter of fact, some people feel like if you have 50, I should have 100 because you owe that to me, right? Let all of that go, detach from the outcome, whatever it is, and surrender to just the fact of, I know whatever happens in my life, it will be for my highest and greatest good. And if that means I have to put him, aside, put the thoughts of this divorce aside, and just stay in the feeling that I want to feel after all of this is finished, really the feeling that I want to feel right now, right? But visualizing what I want my life to look like, the feeling that I want my life to have and to feel like, that's what we want to gravitate to. That's what we want to hold on to, not the outcome. Okay, so when it does not, or if it does not pan out the way that you anticipate it panning out, it doesn't send you back into a spiral. If you find out that he's moved on to another relationship and you feel like, well, I think that you should have at least given it this amount of time, that's an outcome that you had in your mind, right? Disassociate with that and realize that you cannot control anything other than your feeling. You can't even control what happens to you. You can only control how you feel about a situation, right? So that's my offer, to you today is when you're clearing out these emotions, we're wrapping it all up today. We spoke about, just the time vested. Sometimes we feel like we invested so much time and, we have our, our feelings about that. And then we have, that control aspect of feeling like I want to try to control and almost manipulate. But remember, I said we weren't going to talk about the manipulation word, right? But, trying to control things kind of like in our, our DNA as a woman, we want to try. And it really is about security, but I won't get back into that too much. We already talked about it. And then those expectations, right? Expecting things to work out the way that you feel like you want them to work out, right? And then also that resentment that we spoke about yesterday, that harshness, that heaviness, right? You got to clear all of that up. And then now today we're wrapping it up with surrendering and detaching from an outcome. All of those things are needed, ladies, to clear out your emotions regarding your divorce, right? I don't know how I can stress this, or if I can even stress this enough. You need to change the mindset. You have to clear out these emotions. They do not, and they will not go away by themselves, right? The sting may kind of subside a little bit, right? The sting of the divorce, the sting of the breakup, the sting of, the missing the person in your life, right? The day to day, that may kind of subside a little bit. That might not sting as much as it used to, but the feelings behind it, the trauma behind it, believe me, ladies, it stays in your system. It will still be triggers for you later on in life if you don't take the time, take the proper steps, and engage with those emotions, with those traumas, and clear them out. Time alone does not heal it. Time passes, but it does not heal it, right? A new relationship will not heal it. Ignoring the situation truly does not heal it. What heals it is doing the work, okay? That's the only thing. And it's so very important. And we talked about it yesterday, and I'm going to keep on reiterating just how important it is to really get all of that stuff up out of you. So I hear this often, and this is, I just hear this often. Naima, I knew you back then, and I know you now. And to be honest, it seems like you're aging backwards. Like, how are you doing that? Right? I think I'm going to share maybe today in the post, instead of posting what I had planned on posting, I'm going to show you a before and after picture of myself. And I understand, I totally get it. And I said, you know what? I feel like I feel like I am actually aging, backwards, because I'm no longer holding on to the trauma and those emotions. I did the work and I cleared all that out. It was so important to me, and I wanted it as much as I wanted my next breath, right? You have to be hungry for your healing. You have to be hungry for your happy and whole life, right? And healing, that's difficult to be hungry for, right? Because you don't really want to be hungry for healing. That's not really a benefit, right? The benefit is I want to be happy. I want to thrive. I want to be energized. I want to love. I want to feel peace. That's why you're doing the healing, right? The healing is the vehicle to take you to your desired state, right? So I wanted it. I didn't care how long it took me, how much it cost, what I had to do, where I had to go. I wanted to live my desired life in peace and happiness and success. I wanted to be that version of myself that I knew God intended me and created me to be. I wanted, and I still want it. But back then I wanted it more than I wanted anything else in life. And why? Because I needed to show up for my children. I wanted to show my sons, no matter what life throws at you, you are worth the effort and the energy it takes to pull yourself back up, to reestablish, to realign, and to live how you want to live, happy, healthy, and whole. I wanted to prove it to myself, and it was important for me to show that to my children and just the people around me, right? So it's kind of like when you go in for a weight loss surgery, right? You're going in because you want to, release all of the excess, um, the excess weight that you have on you, right? And you know that you can do this quick surgery, and the weight will just start falling off quick, right? Because of the surgery, right? Now, before the doctors will even allow you to have that weight loss surgery, they take you through mindset training and a mindset counseling, right? Why? Because if you don't change the thought process behind it, if you don't change what's in the inner, the exterior will not change either. Either you won't lose the weight at all, it just surgery won't work at all, or either you'll pick it right back up later on, right? Once the sting and the newness wears off and you get comfortable again, those same old habits will rise right back up if you haven't taken care of your mindset first, with the inner first. Ladies, it starts with the inner. You have to detach from the outcome of what it looks like on the outside and be very confident, right, in your inner, what you want to feel, right, what you want to put out into the universe, the energy. So when I hear people say, I don't have the time to dedicate to all of this right now, I don't have the resources to dedicate to all of this right now because I'm trying to deal with this, one step at a time, I guess, right? No, you don't have the time or the the energy not to change your inner, right? By default, your outer is going to begin to change because your inner is changing. Invest in your inner first, right? And then the outcome that you want will take place eventually. It's all about, that alignment and working in harmony with your thoughts, your mind, and your body. We've spoke about that before. I really go into that in deep levels and really break down the science behind it, right, in our program. But let me just leave you with this. You got to surrender to the outcome, okay? Stop trying to force it. And when you are in a good mindset, a healthy mindset, it makes that effort so much easier because you just get it. It clicks, ladies. I see you struggling. I see you're hurt. I'm reading the DMs and my heart, it goes out. It hurts for all of these, the DMs and the stories that I get. And if you don't take anything else from this live today, understand this. What happens in the inner will always reflect on the outer, right? So when you're not feeling right in here, that stuff will never be right externally. Like I said, the sting may disappear. The sting may, kind of go down a little bit. It may not be as burdensome as it was before. But trust and believe it's still there, and it will still come roaring its ugly head in your future, in your next relationship, in your next challenging time, in how you raise your kids, and how you show up at work, how you show up for friends and family. It's still there until you clean it up. It's that whole sweeping things under the rug. It's important. That's how you do it. That's how you age backwards, right? You clear out all of that stuff. So I hope that the last 5 days of the clearing out, your emotions after divorce, I hope that you've heard something that triggered something for you in a positive way, that's motivated you and inspired you to just do better so that you can be better. So tomorrow, I really want to dig into, and I'm excited about this topic as far as your tribe, your people, right? The people that you have in your life and what a difference that makes. I'm going to break it all down from what it means to have family, friends, your tribe members, your acquaintances, right? How all of that works together, especially when you're going through something as traumatic and stressful as a divorce. The people that you have in your life, how you show up for them and how they show up for you. I'm not even going to get all into that right now because that's tomorrow. But it's good, you guys. You don't want to miss that. Life-changing for me. The people that I had, the support system that I had throughout this process and still have today, it's not what you think, right? It's probably not who you think. But it made a world of a difference for me. And I honestly feel that I wouldn't be where I am today had I not evaluated my relationships, right? So we're going to talk about all of that for the next couple of days starting tomorrow. I love you as always, and I look forward to helping you and seeing you and watching you and encouraging you and rooting for your happy, healthy, and whole life after divorce, because you're worth it and it is possible. All right. Talk to you later. Don't forget to DM me any questions or any topics that you would like me to talk about on these lives. Okay. Love you.